Hello everyone and welcome. Crash here. This is RTA Motorsports. Let me make sure this is all working. Make sure it's all working well. All right. There we go. All right. And actually chat is working somewhat. Let me see if I could fix that. It kind of doesn't look right. But hope everyone's doing well. I know it's been a little while since we live streamed. You can see we have the Quest 2 on, and we don't have any wires connected to it, but we did get it to work with, hey, Ty, what's going on? We did get it to work with Virtual Desktop, which was actually surprisingly easy to do, to set up side quests and everything like that was a heck of a lot easier. I've been kind of dreading doing it, to be honest with you, and finally decided to do it, and it was actually so much easier than I thought it was. I'll probably go into a video on how to do it, but there's actually a lot of really good videos out there already. I don't want to kind of just reiterate what's already been said in their hard work that was already done. So when this video does go live, I will more than likely just copy and not copy and paste, but I'll post their links to the videos I use to kind of get me going, because I kind of feel that would be probably a little bit more beneficial, because They did a really good job on their videos. Let's see here. And for some reason, now chat went away. So this is going to be a really short video here. Just kind of initial testing. I think I have about 65% battery life, left. Around there on the Quest. Let's go back to clean. Let's see if we can get it working with that. All right, so that came through. Try that one more time. There we go. Okay. We got the old look back, finally. All right, so let's jump into it, and I'm going to kind of go into real quick what we had to do. So you have to enable developer mode on your Oculus Quest. That's on your Oculus account. Super easy to do. There's a lot of videos on how to do that. You essentially just go to a link, you sign up with your Oculus account name and your email, and you basically make like a, sort of a business name and that you're going to be developing. You acknowledge, you restart your Oculus, and there you go. You're within your phone app. You have to enable developer mode per Quest. So on my old Quest, I had developer mode on. I thought it was for my account. It's not. It's per Quest. So I had to go back into the Quest settings for this Quest 2 and enable that developer mode again, which only took a few moments to do. Load up side quest, load up a few patches, and then that was it. And then it was working. Kind of got the settings going. We do have a 5 gigahertz router that we're connected to. Everything so far seems to be working really well and a little too easy. So let's kind of jump in. I do already have ACC up and running, and it's pretty neat how they have it going, where you can kind of set up you could like pull up a window that you could adjust the settings on the fly. Now you're going to kind of see it moving around a little bit, and it's because right now it's in like a desktop mode. So and you have to use your left controller for a lot of the settings of options. And there you go. Now I'm actually in VR mode. Let me see if it looks a little bit. And that should be a pretty good view there. I have no wires connected, and I do got to say, like, initial impressions with my router, which is not a crazy router at all. It's not a 6 gigahertz router or anything like that. It's just a 5 gigahertz router. Everything worked really well out of the box. The max I could do was 130 megabits per second for the streaming encoding. It said I had a max of 855 megabits per second theoretical that I could use. But the streamer only allowed 130 as a max. I think for better routers, you could try to get a little bit more out of that. Again, my headset is connected to the 5 gigahertz band on my router, and that's pretty important as a minimum. But everything looks really good here. I did have to lower my settings down a little bit within the game from VR Epic to VR High, and it became significantly smoother. I wasn't getting any jittering or anything like that. But the neat thing that I can do now, and let me see if I can do this without actually killing myself, and you're going to lose a little bit of audio, 1 second, from me, but it'll make sense. Check this out. Isn't that cool or what? I don't know. I get a kick out of that every time. Now, the headset just disconnected just for a second. I think I might have hit something, which is pretty common for me to do. It says double tap. Oh, I turned on pass-through. So that wasn't, this whole experience. That was me turning on pass-through, and that's why it disconnected from the VR experience. But Tom Jones, what's going on? Did you see that? Get back to the car. You're going to get run over. Yeah. Cars and I see what you did there, Jesse. I see what you did there. But isn't that pretty cool? I like that. I don't know. That's pretty neat. So I want to try other experiences with it as far as, maybe going into multiplayer sessions, going into the pits and kind of watching the race from the pits and seeing if we could do that. Like little things like that I think are absolutely immersive and cool. But we'll see what we can and can't do, what it lets us to do. All right, let me see if virtual desktop audio is the right source, and let's make sure that that is correct. So I'm actually not getting audio through the headset. Before I was when I was first testing it. Hold on 1 second. I think that's actually the game kind of overriding and sending audio to my headphones. And it works pretty much so far the same as it does with any other VR headset. There we go. All right, so we got audio back now. That was a game kind of overriding it. Because the game itself, or the sim, I should say. Sorry, guys. You could actually set what audio device you want the audio to go to, if you're not familiar with ACC. All right, so let's give this a try. There's a little bit of slight jitteringness. Oh, let's be way behind everyone else. There's a slight jitter here and there. And I can only attribute that to the amount of things that I have on my Wi-Fi network. And it's so slight, it's almost passable where it's not really bothering me, which is nice.
Going double file.
But everything looks super good. I mean, they definitely nailed the throughput as far as the bit rate coming through. It does look, I would say it does look better than what you experience on the link cable. And again, it was super easy to set up. There were, you know, the whole side quest, side loading thing really wasn't difficult. Literally took me about 10 minutes to get everything running, and I was kind of confused. I thought there should be more to it. I have the motion rig on the lowest setting that I could, so sorry guys if there is still some motion on there. I love racing with my motion rig. It kind of is what it is at that point.
Green light, go, go, go.
Audio sounds good. I'm not getting any clipping. Colors look good, and there's a lot of settings you can adjust. Now, I don't think 90 frames is actually working yet. I think even though we have the beta option to turn on 90 within the Quest 2, I should say, within the main menu, they disabled it within apps, and that's something that's supposed to be coming back soon. So this, to me, I can't really tell if it's running at 90 or not. That might be that slight jitteriness that I'm actually sensing, is that it's running at 72 because I'm so used to using my desktop VR. But it feels smooth enough where I think if I bring someone in to try this, they're not really gonna notice a difference or notice that there's anything wrong. This is amazing. All through the router, guys. And I don't have a crazy router. This is like the 3-year-old 5 gigahertz router. As the cars go off in the distance a little bit, I'm noticing a little bit of like, they're a little bit blurrier than I experienced with like my Pimax, but not by much. I would say the image looks slightly softer, if that makes sense. But it's not taking away from the experience too much at all. I feel like I could fine-tune this and maybe kick some things off with a 5 gigahertz band that I have. TVs, my phone. I know that was one thing they were saying, disconnect your phone from the 5 gigahertz band if you can. And you generally get better performance. I have everything still on there. I just wanted to run it as is and see what it's like. And this is honestly incredible that it's working this well. I know I could probably get it better. I'm not noticing any latency between my hand inputs and what I'm noticing in the title. So there is latency. There has to be latency, obviously, right? But it's not enough for me to notice. I can read all the dash dials and everything. Everything looks great. The only thing is that you have to consider now is your battery, because now we're not plugged into USB. It's not going to be charging. Even though I didn't ever notice it charging that well when I had it plugged into the link cable. It's not going to be charging. It's going to be consuming power. So your playtime is going to be limited unless you have a battery pack connected to it. Something to charge it. And I know Oculus was selling a different headband that has a battery built in. That might be very useful in this case. I'm not sure how long this battery would last in this instance, doing what we're doing now. So I probably would not do this for endurance racing unless you had some means of ensuring that you have power on hand. Could plug it into a wall outlet with a long USB to charge it while you're racing, but that defeats the purpose, right?
Keep it up.
Like, I have nothing plugged into my head right now, which is incredible, which makes me feel silly for the bird's nest of USBs and wires I have plugged into all my various headsets to the left of me right now. I have a bunch of cables right here on my left side that are, again, for various VR components. And right now, having fun in VR with no cables. So, just to recap also, got a little bit on the green there. The as far as the review coming for this headset, there was a lot of things I was waiting for before I did the review.
Rather late. Personal fastest lap.
The Oculus Rift S, if you guys are new to the channel, when I did the review of that, we were experiencing a very, very bad static issue that was well known at the time, documented, and soon after my review, it actually was resolved. Oh, the AI just spun us out. Oh, you're kidding me.
We have to repair the car.
You're kidding me. So, wow. I don't think I've had the AI do that to me before in this title. Like that. Anyway, it is super immersive to see all that dirt on the windscreen there. You get some depth separation, you know. Anyway, but the so that review incorporated something that was soon after resolved and kind of bothered me. So we don't have 90 frames per second yet on this headset. They keep saying it's coming soon. Suffering a lot of damage. You can see I'm getting the meatball there from the track officials, so I have to go in get the car repaired. So there was other things I was waiting for also that I want to get fixed, and I was kind of waiting for everything to pan out. Also, I was waiting for the HP Reverb G2, so that way I could do a side-by-side comparison. I pre-ordered that headset back in May 30th, and they released an email saying if you ordered before September, you should be getting the headset sometime in November. I still haven't gotten notification that my Reverb G2 has shipped. So there's a few things that are kind of holding me up a little bit, and that's kind of why the review for this headset has been kind of delayed a little bit. Just kind of stay patient if you guys don't mind. I appreciate it big time. I have a plan, so hopefully it'll all pan out. But this headset does not stop impressing me. Things like this that the developers and coders created are just absolutely amazing. And this is one of the more comfortable headsets I own. You know, and it does well with blocking light and everything like that. This add-on head strap really does a lot as far as comfort is concerned. So all in all, this is a great experience. So now that we're in the pits, let me take a look at some questions here. Norman Robinson. I know, right? FUAI. Up. That's the only thing. If you if it thinks you have taken off the headset, it will stop. You know, it will pause the title, which is kind of nice. But at the same time, you know, there's not much that you can do there. You have to like leave it glued to your forehead. No, so yeah, definitely not Reverb G2. That's kind of why I wanted to say this is definitely not the Reverb G2, and it's kind of the situation going on with that headset right now that we're just waiting. Now, I wouldn't go as far as to say this is perfect and it's an absolute perfect experience.
We've been given a stop and go penalty.
Why? Oh, when I was coming in, I was speeding. But this further cements itself in one of those positions where I get asked a lot of questions. If, you know, if I could only have one headset, what would I have? For the money, this is an absolute great choice for entry to mid-level. Someone just looking for comfort. This would be an upgrade to a lot of early on VR headsets like the Oculus Rift CV1. This would be huge. And then just for the aspect of not too long ago, Vive owners like myself, I owned a Vive. We all were in that spot where we considered, and a lot of people did, buying that add-on to have the Vive work wirelessly, and it was several hundreds of dollars. Whereas in this case, you're buying just the app. Now, I already had Virtual Desktop on Steam. That's the only thing that kind of bums me out a little bit, is that Virtual Desktop, you have to buy it again within the Oculus Quest store. So if you already own it on Steam, that doesn't matter. This runs with the Oculus Quest version. So if you haven't purchased Virtual Desktop, don't purchase the Steam VR version, because that has nothing to do with what we're doing right now. There's a streamer that you have to download from Virtual Desktop. There's some VR patchwork that you have to download and load in through SideQuest. But none of that has anything to do with the Steam VR version of Virtual Desktop. The functionality is much the same.
Good job. You did the best you could. Take
But,
it easy.
I'm wondering, with some fine-tuning, maybe disconnecting my phone, maybe disconnecting my TV, which is actually on the 5 gigahertz band right now as well. I wonder, kind of kicking those things off the 5 gigahertz band and going back and fine-tuning things, how much better I could get this to look. It, to me, already looks better than the Link version, and it runs just as smooth, and my hands keep getting picked up as controllers. So it's funny, I have FPS VR, and every so often, FPS VR, I don't know if you guys were able to see it on your side, gets attached to my left hand. It picks it up as a controller, and it's just kind of funny. A window would just pop up attached to my hand every so often. Let's see here. Let's see if I could actually get... see if we could get FPS VR to pop up right now. I just want to confirm whether or not it's running. Play space, blah, blah, blah. I'm not getting it up dependably. Let's see. I remember there is a spot in here where you can... One other thing I'll try. Let me see if I could pull up SteamVR settings on here and kind of just make sure that it's not running at 90, because I'm not really sure if it is or not. And it gets picked up by SteamVR really well. It's showing the headset, both controllers. Actually, the picture kind of looks like an Oculus Rift S. It's kind of funny. Let's see. Developer settings. So it's saying refresh rate 90 hertz. That's what SteamVR is putting out. Wow, that's interesting. But I can't seem to get... Let's exit this title here. And let me see if I could pull up FPS VR in here a little bit easier, maybe. Oh, there it is. It's like on the back of the controller. Where are you? That's kind of a bad spot for it. All right. I got to look directly at my controller. So it is running at 72 frames per second as far as a headset. But the title and the games are putting out 90. So it is still locked at 72. Okay, well, that answers that question. So that's probably that little bit of jitteriness that I'm sensing, is that it's still running at 72, and it's very slight, much like you would experience with the Link anyway. But they are looking to re-enable that, because before we all received our Quest 2s, as the general public, Oculus disabled that because they were having some issues with the boundary and the Guardian kind of acting funny. So it is a beta update where you could enable 90, which I did, but it only works within the what is it called, within the main menu of Quest 2 and some of the browser features, but that's about it. They look to re-enable that all the way once they figure out all the bugs. The other thing I kind of want to check too is I want to see if there's any way we could actually now use the microphone, because as you all know, we kind of had issues with using the microphone with the link cable. So let's see if now we can use it, and let's see. I'm not sure which one it actually is. Let me check one thing for settings here. Let's go to audio, and yeah, it's not exactly showing. That's going to be something else I'm going to have to investigate and try to see, but it says that there is an audio output, and I know the microphone on the Quest 2 is actually really nice. It's not a bad microphone at all. So I would rather use it than use, a microphone in my face, so I have a little bit more freedom whenever I'm in VR. Let's see. So I'm not using any motion correction, although the So for motion correction, if I were to use motion correction, it would have to be within my motion software, which has the ability to do that. But I don't have it on it at all. Never felt the need to kind of delve into that. My motion rig doesn't move enough as far as the actual movement itself. And being that I'm the center of motion, meaning that everything kind of pivots around me, it never feels unnatural. So the motion cancellation never really was needed for me. It would be useful in the sense of streaming though, because then you all won't see that shaking going on like crazy when the motion rig kind of jostles me around. You won't really experience all that, but as far as what I'm experiencing, it still feels perfectly normal. Let's see. Do I think the option available within SteamVR menu settings would be a good working motion correction? You know, I haven't even looked into that. I'm gonna actually have to look into that. I didn't know that there was actually an option available within SteamVR. Let me take a quick peek at that. And that also goes into, I'm not exactly sure if it's, because you also do get different options. Yeah, I don't even see that option in here. You get different options depending on what headset you have within SteamVR settings. And I don't even have access to that option. So that might not even be something that they're, you know, able to do with third-party headsets. It's probably going to be their own. But I kind of wonder with the HP Reverb G2 being that it's co-developed with Valve, if we'll have access to a lot of those settings. And Tixie, how you doing? So yeah, if you guys haven't checked it out, definitely check out the beginning of this stream where we got out of the car and walked around the back of the car. That was pretty neat. But yeah, it just goes to show the possibilities with this headset. I'm kind of curious how far away I could get away with doing room scale VR, because I like doing room scale VR in my living room with this headset, you know, doing the boxing games and whatnot, and even my garage. Sometimes I pull both of the cars out and the whole garage is like a boxing ring at that point, and I do a lot of the boxing games and everything. Kind of curious to see if this will work really well, being that my 5 gigahertz band does go out there full strength. So I'm kind of curious if further away I go, if that's going to create too much latency, or if because I do have access to full strength of my router, if we'll still have a great experience. So I'm going to be trying that. Do I have to set up? Not exactly sure where what you mean by that, bud. But everyone, I do got to start getting going. When I do actually get this live, it should just stay live after this here. But when the video is up and I edit it, well, I'm not going to be editing much. I'm going to be editing the description. I'm going to try to tag some of the videos that I watch to kind of get this going. Again, if you have a Quest 2 or a Quest 1 and you want to get this going, specifically the Quest 2 does have the access to Wi-Fi 6 and all that. And it seems like everyone that's doing it is doing it with the Quest 2. I have a Quest 1 as well. I haven't tried this on the Quest 1. I'm not even sure if it's even possible. Do I have a specific area where I want to be in? Oh, like a setup with that headset? I have like 5 different areas. No. Well, Andy Sky. So as far as triples and VR, anyone that has been sim racing for a long time and has tried both, I've tried both. Not 4K triples, but triples, and I've tried this crazy setup that I had here with my 32x9 and two 16x9s. It's a different experience. It's all a different experience. So when you're in VR, especially if it's good VR, you feel like you're in the car. Not to say that when you're doing 4K triples, you don't feel like you're in the car. When you're in VR, though, you can't see your rig, you can't see your button box, can't see your wheel. Kind of gets hard. You have to go by feel to push all the buttons you need. Could be hard if you use a lot of things like traction control, diff, ABS. If you have all those things mapped and you count on using those settings, VR could be kind of a hard sell for someone like that unless you really know your button box and know where everything is. It just becomes a little bit harder. I do both. I race on my screen, which is a 32x9, the Samsung. What the heck is this called again? I know the new one's called the Odyssey G1 or whatever the heck it's called, but this is a 32x9 from Samsung. I love racing on my monitor, but then I also sometimes like racing in VR. It's a different experience, but can't really say that one replaces the other yet. Thank you, man. Thank you, Norman. Anxiety, to answer your question, do I have a specific spot? I do sim race in one specific area, but as far as VR setups, where I do my room scale VR, I have like 5 different setups around my house, including the garage. So the nice thing about it is the Oculus Quest 2 as well as the Quest 1 will save all of your areas. So as you start walking around your house with your headset, an area will pop up on the floor and you'll see a highlight saying, well, it doesn't say anything, but when you walk within that area, it'll ask you to confirm that boundary. So I have boundaries kind of set up all over the place. It's pretty neat how it works. But yeah, again, everyone, this is just a quick, short stream. I got to get going right now. Unfortunately, I got really excited how quick and easy this was to set up. I mean, I've been just like with the Assetto Corsa, what is that? The Soul mod. That whole thing with the, yeah, I've been avoiding that like the plague because I didn't want to go into developer things and have to mess with scripts and Notepad and it's none of that. It's none of that. It was super easy to set up. That was easy. This was easier. This literally took me 10 minutes to get all set up with SideQuest, following the instructions that I followed. So I'm going to just post those. If you guys want me to make my own instruction guide, I will. But I kind of feel like a lot of people are doing a really, really good job with their instructional videos. So I'm just going to post them in the description of this later on. So definitely look at that if you have a Quest 2 and you want to give it a shot. But yeah, this was surprisingly easy to set up, and I got so excited. I just had to do a quick video for you guys to kind of show you what the heck this is all about. And it works really well. We're going to delve more into it. Again, the review is going to be coming soon, especially after I get the HP Reverb G2 in hand, and we could actually compare them. And I kind of wanted to wait until a 90 hertz mode was released on this, so that way we get a really good apples to apples comparison. I'm not sure how soon that's going to be or not. Also, real soon, I hope it all works out. I'm in discussion with a company right now. Hopefully I get to try, this is for any of you that are still in the stream right now. Hopefully real soon, I'm going to be trying on a track a GT3 car of some kind. So hopefully this all works out, and I'll be able to give you my thoughts and opinions on that as it compares to a motion rig and sim racing and all that, because it's a car I use pretty regularly. I'm in discussions with them. Whether or not this is going to happen is a little bit up in the air. I still want it to happen regardless, but we will see. Yeah. Norman, just to touch on what you just said real quick, I think all they have to do is enable a pass-through. A pass-through that, like, within VR with your controller, you could just take like an eraser and erase an area that you want to be viewed as a pass-through, and everything else is in virtual space. I think if they could do that, which should be easy to do, especially with, the Quest 2 and how it does tracking, once they enable that, I think hands down, it will be perfect for us and sim racing, because its pass-through is actually really good. It's not in color, but it's really good. You can see everything you need to see. So if they enable like a smudge feature where you could just take an eraser and be like, within VR space, kind of, I want to see this area, and everything else is still available in VR, and it tracks things within VR space, which is neat. The Quest 2 actually does track like other objects within. I think that would be it. That would be all I would need. And that would probably be the start of it. So everyone, thank you so much for joining in. This was just a quick look. Again, if you haven't seen the beginning of the stream, definitely check it out. We kind of walked around the car, kind of showed what not having a cable enables you to do. And everyone have a great day. Have a safe one. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow morning for a little bit longer stream. We'll get a little bit more racing in. See you then.